Hi guys, today we're going to be putting on another Dior Quint and it is their latest release. It is the Bronze Sepia. It is number 499. Now I haven't swatched this yet. All I've done is taken photos of it for Instagram. I know that this is going to look really lovely on. This is a beautiful neutral quint, leans probably a little bit warm. There have been other similar releases by Dior and I've pulled out 2 or 3 other quints that I have in my collection and they may look a little similar. So we'll take a look at those. But first of all, we'll just take a look at the quint. I think that this looks really, really lovely. So this is 499 Bronze Sepia. I'll just turn off my light so you can get a better look at it. So before we take a look at the other quints that I've pulled out from my collection, I'm going to swatch this one on my arm first. I'm going to swatch from left to right, top to bottom, and I'll do the middle shade last. So on the Dior website, they describe this as a metallic brown and copper tones and a glittery, cool gold hue around a rosy beige. So they describe the middle shade as a rosy beige. The shade here is sort of like a coppery bronze. This one is a topper shade. It's a champagne shade. And here we have a really beautiful brown, and I love the shade, and it's a lot lighter than they have in some of their other quints, but we'll take a look at those in a minute. And then this one is a matte shade. It does have just a little bit of that copper bronze in it as well. So when I first saw this quint, I immediately thought of the quint poncho that Dior put out, and I love this quint as well, and that is number 559. So I'll just take the brushes just out of that quint and I'll just hold it up so you can take a look. Now I do think, just by looking at it now and with the other one on the table next to me, that poncho doesn't look as warm as the Bronze Sepia. So it does look a little bit different. And again, I've just turned off that light in front of me just so you can take a better look. Now I'll hold up Bronze Sepia beside it as well so you can take a look. So here is Bronze Sepia. This is poncho. And even though I thought that they would be quite similar, I think they look quite different actually. So I'm just going to swatch. This one is poncho. And there is that really deep brown that Dior normally have in their quints. So a lot different to the matte in the Bronze Sepia. Now I'm just going to swatch the middle shade. So Bronze Sepia, and here we have poncho. I think poncho is a lot different. Maybe the only similarity I would say is the topper shades. The topper shade here in poncho, topper shade here in Bronze Sepia. And the other quint that I thought may be similar, and this is number 439, and this one is copper. So I'll hold copper up first, and again I'll just turn down my light. So we have copper, and here is the Bronze Sepia. So again, this has more similarities than the poncho, but I can still see differences in it. So now I'm just going to swatch the copper quint. So again, in the copper quint, you've got that dark brown shade, just like they had in poncho. This is the shade here. This one here is probably similar to this one here, and again the topper, although now when I see them, I don't know whether you can see it, but this one leans a lot warmer, this topper shade, whereas this one, when I see them side by side, when they say it has a cool hue, I can see that now, especially against the top shade from the Copper Quint. And then last is the middle shade, and that is sort of a peach, sort of orange shade for there. So that is different to this shade here. So again, this brown, the deep brown matte shade, is different to this one here. And like I said, the only similarities would be this shade from Bronze Sepia and this one from the Copper palette. Then the last quint that I thought could be similar, I don't think it is now that I've swatched the Bronze Sepia on my arm, but I did pull out number 409, and this is Wild Raffia. I think this is a really, really beautiful quint. So I'm just going to hold that one up so you can take a look. So this is Wild Raffia. And then I'll hold up Bronze Sepia side by side. So here we've got the Bronze Sepia, and this one is Wild Raffia. So really the only similarities possibly is maybe the bottom two shades. The middle shade in Wild Raffia is definitely deeper than the one in Bronze Sepia, but I'll still swatch Wild Raffia on my arm just so you can take a look. And the topper shade out of Wild Raffia, although it's a little bit more opaque than their normal topper shade, that is cooler than this one here in Bronze Sepia, and yet this one looked cooler against the other quint Copper when I tried that. Again, there's that deep brown shade, just like with the other couple of quints that I tried out, which the Bronze Sepia hasn't got. And this one here is deeper than the shade here. This has a lot more pink in it, and probably a lot, well, not a lot, but a little bit more pigmented than the shade as well. Again, probably the similarities lie with this shade here. So it's quite interesting once you start seeing them side by side. As I was saying initially, when I saw promo pics for this quint, I immediately thought of Poncho and thought, gosh, they're just going to be so similar. But really they are quite a bit different, and for me it wouldn't have mattered anyway. I really love a neutral eyeshadow palette, and I really like the Dior formula as well. Now when I swatched these felt really beautiful and soft and smooth going on, so I'm sure they're going to blend really beautifully on the eyes. I already have all my base makeup on. I have on the new Dior primer. It's the Dior Forever, it's the Velvet Veil, and I did a video on that. I think this is a really beautiful primer. I've also got on Dior foundation and Dior bronzer, and today under my eyes I'm also wearing Dior concealer as well. But everything that I'm putting on my face today I will have listed and linked in the description box below. So I'm going to take the Sony G, this is the Classic Crease, and I'm going to go into this brown shade here, and I'm using a fluffy brush. These are fairly pigmented, so I just want to lay down this shade fairly softly to begin with, and like I usually do, I'm just putting it through my crease, but I'm also taking it just slightly above as well, so that when I open my eyes you can still see the shadow. And just like with the swatches, I thought it would blend really beautifully, and it is. It just blends out really, really easily. I'm going to actually just pick up a little bit more. Now I'm just going to take the Sony G, this is the pencil one. I'm just going to stick with the shade, and I'm going to put this just my lower lash line just through here. I'll probably go in with the deeper shade as well, but for now I'll just start off with this shade. Then I'm going to take that Rapha number 14, and I'm going to go into this bronze here, and I'm going to put that through the crease as well. Then I'm going to take the Rapha number 14, I've just wiped it down, and I'm going to go into this matte shade here, and I'm going to put that in the outer corner. This is It's a really, really beautiful shade. And it's quite nice after the last couple of Dior videos I've done where I've had to sort of juggle around with those red shades. It's quite nice to go back to just something neutral, and this does lean a little bit warm, but I think it is really, really lovely. Although I had a subscriber mention in one of my comments that she absolutely adores those red shades in the Dior, both the Mitzah and also the Iconic Muse one, and also a while ago they put out, she mentioned the Trafalgar Quint as well, and she just loves them all. And they do look really good on other people. It's just for me, I just feel that red just tends to make my eyes look a little bit sore. It's not awful, and if I keep it away from my lower lash line, it's fine, but it's just not really a colour that I gravitate towards. So I've just picked up a little bit more. This is quite a fluffy brush, this Rapha 14. I love it. I use it probably nearly every day. I should actually get a backup of it. And because it's fluffy, it tends to pick up a little bit less pigment, which I quite like, because then I can also build my shadow as well. Then I'm going to go back to the pencil one brush and into the shade, and I'm going to add this to my lower lash line as well, and I'm just going to bring it through just to the middle, and I think I'll add that bronze shade over the rest of my lower lash line. I think that will probably look really pretty. So I've just wiped down this brush, and now I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to put that through here. Then I'm going to take the Sonia G, this is the Builder 3, and now I'm going to go into this middle shade here, and I'm going to just put that just through here, and I'm just going to put it up through here as well. And then finally I'm going to go into this topper shade. I'll use this brush first, and I might go over it again with my finger. There's some people that don't like the topper shades in the Dior Quints. I love them. They have that less opacity, and they give a soft, really beautiful, just a slight sparkle to the eyeshadow without being too much, and I think it gives just a really beautiful ethereal look. I love the top shades. I think they're really, really lovely, and it's going on really well using this brush. This Chukahoda one I use quite a lot. This is the F06 one. It's a really lovely brush. So just dipping it in the pan again, and I'm just going to go over this eye, and when I put on a topper, I just tend to just tap it over. I also find if you just want to use a couple of shades, if you want to do a quicker eye look, then you can just go in with even maybe just the shade using a fluffy brush all over your lid, and then quickly go over with a topper shade. That always looks really, really beautiful as well. And then I'm just going to take my Chukahoda, this is the blend brush, and I'm just going to go over it all just so it's all blended in. This is a great brush for just blending it all through. This is super soft. It probably looks, because it bends very easily, it probably looks like I'm pressing quite hard, but I'm not. It's actually really, really soft, and I use this brush a lot as well. It's really, really good. And then I just take one more final look, and if I think just needs a little bit of deepening up in the outer corner here, what I do is I go back. I normally reach for the pencil one, the Sonia G one, and just go back into the deeper shade, or I could even go into the shade here, but I'll stick with the shade here, and I just tap the smallest amount in, just to get, if you want, a little bit more pigment out of the eyeshadow. I did forget to mention the powder that I used on my face today. It's from the new Dior, it's from the Mitzah collection. This is the loose powder in Rose. I absolutely love this powder. And apart from one day, I've been wearing it since my first impression video on it. It is really, really beautiful. This still isn't available at the Australian Dior website, which is where I can order some things from, but as soon as it is, I am definitely buying a backup. I just love it. It gives my skin just a really beautiful soft look, and I think it has this really gorgeous blurring effect as well. So now we'll put on some blush, and I've pulled out the Dior one in Charnelle. I thought this would go really lovely with the eyeshadow look. So I'm just going to take my Chocohodo brush. I think this is a really beautiful coloured blush, and it does go lovely with the eyeshadow look as well. Really, really pretty. And then I've also pulled out the Dior Forever, the Luminizer, and this is in the shade, this is 01 in Nude Glow. I love these because it's just really, really subtle, but it gives just a really beautiful glow to the cheeks. I think this is really, really pretty. And for lipstick, this is shade 100 in Nude Look, but this is the metallic finish. And so here is the finished look, and I think it is really, really lovely, and I'm not surprised. I thought this color story would look really beautiful. This is my type of everyday makeup, and there probably will be other eyeshadows in my collection that probably are similar to this color story, but it did surprise me how different it was to the other couple of quints that I showed you, especially the one Poncho. I thought they would be very close, but really there was one or two shades more closer in the Copper Quint and also in the Wild Raffia as well. And Poncho really isn't the same at all, and I think they would probably look quite different on the eye as well. But like I said, I would have other eyeshadows in my collection that I'm sure are similar to that, but I just wanted to pull out 2 or 3 other Dior Quints that I had in case you had them in your collection as well. It's a beautiful formula. It's a really beautiful color story. It's not what you would call groundbreaking or anything like that for an eyeshadow color story, but it is really beautiful. And the subscribers that I have that comment on my videos, they really love a natural look as well. Definitely an everyday type of makeup look, and also one that I'd wear out in the evening. I just think it's really beautiful. Probably instead of a brown eyeliner for the evening, I'd probably go for a black one just to make my eyes pop a little bit more. But really love this quint. I think it is really, really lovely, and the Charnelle blush is just beautiful, and it's a really gorgeous shade, and I think it goes really lovely with the eyeshadow, and the metallic lipstick is really, really beautiful. And again, the powder, just absolutely gorgeous. I am in love with that Mitzah collection powder. I just think it's really beautiful, and I do hope that Dior make it part of their permanent collection. Some of the subscribers that have already picked up this powder have let me know in the comments how happy they are with it. It really is just such a beautiful powder. It gives just a really beautiful, just soft look to my skin. I just think it's so, so gorgeous. One thing though, because I was doing Dior, I thought I would use the Dior concealer under my eyes. It's the Forever Skin Correct. Normally I just use this just around my face if I want a little bit extra coverage. Today I decided to use it under my eyes, and I was going to use the Charnelle one, and I thought, no, since this is a Dior video, I'll use this. But really, when I take a close look under my eyes, it's actually sort of creasing up a bit. Sometimes when that happens, I just take my finger and just press through again just to stop it. It's probably not very noticeable to you through the camera, but it is to me. I do prefer over this one, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, the Charnelle Sublimage one, which I absolutely love. And I also love the Clé de Peau one, the one in the cream stick. And there are a couple of other ones that I really love as well. The La Prairie one that comes with that foundation that a lot of people don't like. I love that. I wore that the other day again, and the concealer is just beautiful. And the other concealer that I really love is the La Prairie one. That's really beautiful too. At some stage I'll have to do a video. I don't have a ton of concealers, but I have about, I think 7 or 8, somewhere around there, and I probably should rank them and let you know what I think of them. But I just thought I'd point out that I can see now why I tend to stay away, although this is the old formula and now they have reformulated this. So maybe the reformulated concealer could be better for under my mature eyes. So when that's available, when I'm able to pick that up here in New Zealand, I will pick up the new concealer and give that a go and see what it's like. But the older formula, it's okay, but it's not great, and I have better concealers. But getting back to the Bronze Sepia Quint that this video is about, I'm absolutely thrilled that I picked it up. I think it is a beautiful, beautiful colour story, and those of you that love these neutral, it leans slightly a little bit warm, love those type of shades, you are going to love this Quint. I think it performed really, really beautifully. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.